It might just be me, but when I think of superheroes, I never really associate them with weapons, you know? I mean, take Thor for example. Sure, he has Mjolnir or Stormbreaker, but I think of him as the god of thunder more than anything, and just consider those to be accessories. However, if you think about it, there are so many weapons spread across the Marvel Universe, some incredibly powerful and scary, and others not so much, and honestly, it would be a crime to not take a closer look at them. What is going on, all you nerdy folk out there? My name is Jack, and welcome back to Top 10 Nerd. I'm super excited because today we are going to be talking about some of the scariest and most powerful weapons in the Marvel Universe that we've seen in the comics and throughout the MCU. Let's jump on in. Number 10. The Black Vortex. Created by the Celestial known as Godhead, the Black Vortex is a somewhat sentient mirror-like object that shows an individual what they would look like with their cosmic potential unleashed, and then after they say, "I submit to the Black Vortex," the individual is given that power. It's also capable of taking that power away, but that doesn't happen too often. Historically, Gara was the first Vescardi to submit to the power of the Vortex, and 1 year later, after a terrible war, they were left with the only surviving member of their race. Fast forward 12 billion years, then we see the Vortex in Mr. Knife's possession. However, it's been tossed around so many times since its creation that it is tough to pinpoint exactly where it is half the time. Like, seriously, it's gone from Mr. Knife to the Guardians of the Galaxy to Ronin, back to the Guardians of the Galaxy to the X-Men to Captain Marvel. It's just nuts. Other known characters who have used the power of the Black Vortex are the Slaughter Lords, Gamora, Groot, Kitty Pryde, and Ronan the Accuser. However, Groot had his powers taken away from him, which left him with a slightly altered appearance from then on. Why not check out this cosmic power unleasher for yourself in its first appearance in 2015's legendary Star-Lord number 5. Number 9. Darkhold. Years and years and years ago, the elder god known as Chthon decided to write down all of his evil works and spells so he could pass on his terrifying knowledge. Originally written on flesh, it was later transferred to stone and then to some indestructible parchment, and once it was bound together, it became known as the Darkhold or Chthon Scrolls or the Necronomicon. The book contains a vast array of powerful black magic spells, however very few can actually use them without losing their souls and becoming possessed by Chthon. These spells include, but are not limited to, accessing limbo, controlling the will of others, summoning Chthon himself, and the most famous spell, the Montesi Formula, that is meant to basically just destroy all vampires. Humans first found the Darkhold 100,000 years ago during the pre-cataclysmic era, and it has survived until the modern day, having been held by prominent characters such as the Darkholders, Zula, Mephisto, Morgan Le Fay, Baron Zemo, and Elsa Bloodstone. In the 21st century, we saw the Darkholders take interest in carnage because the prophecy stated that when the Red Slayer spills blood on sacred stone, he who sleeps shall wake, and what walked will walk once more. However, this just resulted in a major buff for Carnage because he was only empowered by Chthon's presence. Take a look at the Darkhold for yourself, starting with its first appearance in 1972's Marvel Spotlight number 4. Number 8. The Muramasa Blade. Muramasa was an immortal and legendary swordsman and smith from Japan and was the creator of two of the blades that played a large role in Wolverine's life. The Black Blade and the Muramasa Blade, which is the one that Logan wielded after he recovered his memories. This blade was crafted using a piece of Wolverine's soul and is capable of cutting through pretty much anything that stands in its way. I mean, heck, it sliced through one of Cyclops' optic beams. It also has the ability to greatly reduce the efficiency of any healing factor, which Wolverine learned firsthand after he saved a minor wound from it during a fight with Captain America that took days to heal. And he used this ability to his advantage when he went up against Sabretooth's clone and cut off his arm just before he decapitated him. The forging process of this took many years, but when Muramasa finally finished it and handed it over to Logan, he told Wolverine to wield it like an angry god, and that is exactly what he did because he used it against many enemies while in possession of it, like Nuke, Wildchild, and Sabretooth. After Wolverine's temporary death, the sword was hunted down by the Orphans of X and reforged into several bullets for them to use. Take a look at this legendary sword for yourself by checking out its first appearance in 2006's Wolverine Volume 3, number 40. Number 7. Tactagon. Classified as an Omega level weapon, the Tactagon is a gauntlet-like weapon that bonds to its host. Disconnected from its original host in a battle many years ago, the Tactagon fell to Earth, landing in San Francisco, and found Violet Lightner, who it attached itself to and granted her immense power. Able to transform into the perfect weapon needed to defeat an opponent, and able to immediately figure out an opponent's weakness, the Tactagon helped her become the hero known as Armory, and this gave her the power needed to defeat Ultimo. Violet was stripped of the Tactagon not too long after because she couldn't control the power and accidentally killed MVP during training. And the next host actually ended up becoming a clone of MVP known as KIA. This also didn't last long because KIA couldn't really control the power either, and the more he fought against it, the more it held on to him. Thankfully, the Tactagon was eventually removed from his body and Tony Stark took it away to a secret location so that it could cause no more damage. Making its first appearance in 2007's Avengers The Initiative number 1, check out this alien weapon for yourself and let me know your thoughts on it. Number 6. The Mandarin's 10 Rings. Remaker, Influence, Spin, Spectrum, Nightbringer, Daemonic, Incandescence, Lightning, Zero, and the Liar, aka the 10 rings created by the Makluan technology that found their way to Earth via the Makluan explorer Axon Carr. The Mandarin discovered the alien in his ship and became obsessed with the rings, so much so that he killed Carr and just took them for himself. Each ring contains the soul of a long-dead legendary cosmic warrior trapped in a phantasmal state, and they grant the wielder some pretty crazy powers. The Remaker allows the Mandarin to manipulate the atomic and molecular structures of matter. The Influence allows the Mandarin to generate and project various beams of concussive force. The Spin causes the air to move about at a high speed in a vortex. The Spectral allows the Mandarin to project a beam of energy capable of destroying the bonds between the atoms and molecules. The Nightbringer allows him to create an area of darkness using dark energy. The Daemonic allows him to generate and manipulate various forms of electromagnetic energy. The Incandescence ring allows the Mandarin to project blasts of infrared to produce flame or ignite combustible materials. The Lightning ring allows the Mandarin to project blasts of electrical energy. Zero allows him to project waves of intense cold and ice. And the Liar magnifies the Mandarin's psionic energies, allowing him to mentally manipulate the thoughts and actions of others. Upon putting all the rings on at once, the Mandarin was flooded with thoughts of reviving the Cosmic Warriors, and many years later he actually attempted to do so. However, he never actually succeeded, and then, after his death, the rings were placed under S.H.I.E.L.D's watchful eye. Check out these rings for yourself in 1964's Tales of Suspense number 50. Number 5. The Odin Sword. This is a bit of a broad term considering that there are actually 3 swords that go by this name, so let's spend a little bit of time on each, shall we? The first is the Oversword of Asgard, a giant sword that if ever unsheathed means the end of the world was at hand. Over the years, several enemies of Asgard attempted to draw the Odin Sword to destroy Asgard, including Mangog, and Odin actually used the sword as a weapon for the destroyer armor after it absorbed the souls of all of Asgard. Despite its immense power though, it was actually ineffective against all of the Celestials, which was proven when Thor threw it against Arishem the judge's chest, and it did absolutely nothing. The second Odin Sword was Ragnarok, aka the end of all things, the sword given to Thor during the Serpent's War, which Odin stated to be the only weapon capable of defeating Kull. The third and final one isn't actually an officially confirmed Odin Sword, but it is assumed to be one. It appeared in the World Eater storyline where Thor used the giant sword to cut through space and time of the World Tree. Check out these crazy powerful swords for yourself, starting with the first appearance of them in 1965's Journey into the Mystery. Number 4. NECROSWORDS. The NECROSWORDS are bladed weapons, obviously, that are formed out of the living abyss, though they usually manifest as a separate object as opposed to covering a portion of the wielder's body like most of the symbiotes do. It's not super clear if all symbiotes can take on the form of a NECROSWORD or if there are specific guidelines they have to meet. There are a few versions of these terrifying blades out there. The strongest and scariest in my opinion is the all-black NECROSWORD, a massive double-headed sword capable of cleaving through the stars that was created by Null from the first symbiote All Black. This NECROSWORD was also wielded by Gore the God Butcher after he witnessed a fight between Null and another god, and he used it to travel the universe killing any and every god he could find. Other non-godly beings have been able to manifest NECROSWORDs, as Malekith, Conan the Barbarian, and Eddie Brock have all created their own as well. The NECROSWORD has even made its way into the MCU, as Hela in Thor Ragnarok was able to conjure many NECROSWORDs in her battle with Thor. While you're reading the comics from now on, why not keep an eye out for some other NECROSWORD appearances? Number 3. Cosmic Cube. Another weapon classified as an Omega class weapon, the Cosmic Cube is an item that can control matter and energy, answering to the will of the sentient beings that use them. They require practice to be used properly, but a skillful user can alter all reality to answer to its thoughts, granting anything that they desire. In order to create a Cosmic Cube, the person must first generate a force field to open a rift to another dimension that's inhabited by the Beyonders, allowing the extra dimensional energy to filter through the rift. When entering the Earth's dimension, the energies end up being held in some sort of matrix, and the force itself is what shapes the matrix into a perfect cube and provides the cube with its almost unlimited power. Like I kinda glossed over before, the Cosmic Cube's main power is answering to the will of a person, or, put simply, wish-making. The Cosmic Cube cannot affect souls, and given the Beyonders' inability to affect time, we can presume that the cubes cannot affect time, as the cubes possess only a fraction of the Beyonders' dimension's power. After extended use, a Cosmic Cube will develop its own intelligence, often influenced by the user at the time, and will get to a point where they choose how they want to be used and can deny certain wishes if they think they don't like them. There have been many wishes granted by the Cosmic Cube, the most notable being the ones made by Reed Richards, and of course Thanos, who used the power to become one with the universe. Check out the Cosmic Cube for yourself, starting with its first appearance all the way back in 1966's Tales of Suspense number 79. Number 2. The Infinity Gauntlet. The Infinity Gauntlet. Now I have very mixed feelings about this one because on one hand, it is literally the most powerful object in the Marvel Universe, which is super sick, but It makes me sad because it just makes me think of Avengers Infinity War and Endgame. Now I imagine we're all familiar with this weapon because its prevalence in recent years, but if you're not, don't worry, I'll give you the rundown. By itself, the Infinity Gauntlet isn't much to talk about, but once combined with the time, space, soul, reality, power, and mind gems, aka the Infinity Stones, it becomes an all-powerful force that few can put a stop to. It can do pretty much anything the user requests of it, which is terrifying if you think about it. Thanos first used the power of the Infinity Gauntlet in hopes of appeasing his love, death, and with the infamous snap, he used it to get rid of half of the population of the entire universe. Adam Warlock was the next wielder of the gauntlet, using it against Magus. However, Warlock was smart enough to replace one of the gems with a fake, which created a massive gap in Magus' powers when he came into possession of the gauntlet. Other known users of the Infinity Gauntlet are Mr. Fantastic, Nebula, Captain America, and of course, Robert Downey Jr., Iron Man. I would also just like to point out that in Peter Porker's universe, Earth 8311, Thanos uses a variant of the gauntlet called the Infinity Gauntlet. Check out this all-powerful weapon for yourself, starting with its first appearance in 1990 Silver Surfer Volume 3, number 44. Number 1, Staff of One. A magical staff so powerful that it is stated to have had the likes of Dormammu tremble, and that's saying something because have you seen him? The staff was formed after Tokiko Minoru bested the magical entity known as the One with a thrall army twice the size of the One's. After her victory, she presented the One with a choice: to die or to become her sword. He chose the latter and became the Staff of One. The staff was passed through generations, and Tina Minoru receives the Staff of One from Judy Minoru, who gave a speech about the rules and conditions and basically just a TLDR of using the staff like it had been done across the centuries. The current user of the staff is Nico Minoru, who is actually very proficient with it, and with its power she has gone up against the likes of the Upward Path, Arcade, the Witchbreaker, and more, and has come out on top each time. Now I won't bore you by telling every incantation that the Staff of One is capable of because we would literally be here 4 hours, so I'll just go over a few. Forget was used to erase Jeffrey Wilder's memories. Guess what? My spells do work against you was used so that her spells would actually work against the Gibborim. And Hulk Smash was used to send She-Hulk into a Berserker type rage. Now what makes this weapon so powerful and scary is that it seems it can be used for literally anything and everything. So see if you agree with me by checking out its first appearance in 2003's Runaways number 4. That'll be it for this video, everyone. I'm sure we all know that there are so many other scary weapons to cover in the Marvel Universe, so if you enjoyed this video, let us know in the comments below, and maybe we'll continue this list of the part 2 covering all your favorites that we missed. Don't forget to subscribe to Top 10 Nerd to stay up to date on all things nerdy, and why not ring that notification bell so you know whenever we upload a video. As always, my name is Jack, thank you guys so much for watching, and make sure to stay nerdy, my friends.